The cost where X is the number of miles driven of renting a car for a day is $29 plus $1.75 per mile. What is the slope of the linear function and its units? B, what is the y-intercept and its units? C, what is a linear function? Well, actually, the answer to C will be a combination of parts A and B together. And to help us think about this, we should think about the slope-intercept form of a line, which most of us remember, y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope, right, m, and the b is the y-intercept, or at least the y-coordinate of the point where the line crosses the y-axis. So this, the b, right? All right, now it says that we want the slope first. Okay, so the slope, remember, is always multiplying x. And what is x here? X is the number of miles driven. So something that is multiplying the number of miles driven. Well, this says that we have $1.75 per mile added to our bill. In other words, every time we drive another mile, we add another $0.75, or we add another time, we add $1.75 one more time to our bill. So the slope is actually 1.75, and I did mean to highlight that in blue to match part A. So that would be 1.75 here, and the units are in dollars, but dollars what? Dollars for every mile, per mile. Okay, so that's part A. Now part B, what is the y-intercept and its units? Well, the b on the end of the linear equation in slope-intercept form is the constant number that is the y-intercept, or in other words, if you were to put a 0 in for x, right, then that term would cancel out and you would just have the y equals b, the y-intercept. Well, when x is 0, in this example, it means that there are no miles driven yet. So since x is the number of miles driven, if we say we haven't driven any miles yet, what is the cost of our bill at that point? And why do we know we're asking for cost? Because it says c of x is the function that we're trying to create. And we know that, hopefully we know, that function notation like c of x could be replaced with the y variable. So the cost is the y variable. And the cost, when no miles have been driven yet, is $29 because it says for a day is $29 plus 1.75 a mile. So before we've driven anywhere, we do have to put down that $29. So that's our y-intercept. And if you write it in as an ordered pair, you would put 0, 29. But since they're just asking us for the y-intercept and the units, I'm assuming they mean just the cost, which is 29, and that is dollars. And we don't say per mile because it's a flat rate. That amount, just dollars, goes onto the bill one time. It's not per anything. I mean, I guess you could say per day, but we are coming up with an equation that represents the cost of renting a car for a day. So we don't need to say for a day again here. Then finally, we can combine those two parts to complete our final answer. What is the linear function? So the answer should be c of x, the cost of driving a car for a day, is $29, 29, times the number of miles driven. Oh, I had that wrong. Excuse me. Haha, just kidding. It should be $1.75 per day times x plus the $29 starting fee.